Good morning, everybody. Pastor Nate Borman here, one of the pastors at Mount Lebanon Lutheran Church. We're walking our way through the book of Leviticus, and yeah, it's a gray day outside. It's a little bit dreary outside. It looks like there's a little bit of rain coming down, but let's not let that get us down. What I want to help you see today is a couple of things. We're walking our way through Leviticus. Leviticus 21, 22 especially is where we'll focus today. What I want to focus on a couple of things. One, the high bar that God sets for his people, and the source of holiness for God's people. And I hope as you think about those two things, the high bar that God sets for his people and the holiness that God gives to his people, as you think about those two things, that the dreariness of the day would go away. Even if it's gray outside, I hope that your heart is full of sunshine. And that your face would smile because of the good things that God's given you to do, because of the life that God's given you to live, because of the holiness that God gives you. So let's talk about it. In Leviticus chapter 21, God, and into chapter 22 as well, God really sets, he's talking about the priests who would serve in the temple, the priests who would serve in the tabernacle. And I'll be honest, when you read the list, the bar is impossibly high. So when God sets this bar high for his people, he talks about, listen, if somebody in your family dies, you don't get to cry. Right? So if you're the priest and a family member dies, you don't get to cry. God sets guidelines for his people about the way they are supposed to or not supposed to cut their hair. Like, don't trim the edge of your beard. Right? It's this crazy thing, right? God sets the bar impossibly high. Don't come near a dead body, right? You can't have, again, the bar is so high. God sets the bar high. He says you can't have any deformities. You can't have any malfunctions. Like, your body has to be just right. God sets the bar impossibly high. And I think we'll keep asking this question because it's a useful question. Why? Why does God set the bar so high? Now, remember who these priests were and who these priests were serving. These priests were serving the Most High God. The priests were serving the Most High God in his most holy place. And so if they were going to come near to God, if they were going to intercede and mediate for the people, then they had to be perfect, right? Oh, reminds you of Jesus, doesn't it? Right? And there's two things I want to say to that. So one thing I need you to notice, though, about all this, God sets the bar impossibly high, but now I want you to notice this. Read through chapter 21 and 22 and notice this. God says, I am the Lord who makes you holy. Why did God tell them to do this? Did God tell them to do this so that they could become holy, or because they were holy? Did God give them these guidelines because they were set apart, or to set them apart? I suppose in some ways the answer is yes to both questions, but let's be really clear. God gave them these expectations because they were holy. I am the Lord who makes you holy. I am the Lord who makes them holy. God set this bar for his people because they were holy. Right? Let's start here. The source of holiness is not our behavior. See, we don't become holy by avoiding certain things or by accomplishing certain things. We don't become holy by filling certain roles or having certain callings, right? We don't become special because of what we do. We don't become pure because of what we avoid. We are pure, therefore we avoid certain things and do certain things, right? We get this all backwards in our lives. Right? We get this all upside down in our lives, that we think that if we accomplish something, then we'll be special. Right? We think to ourselves, we'll be holy if we don't do certain things. We'll be holy if we do certain things. And that's just not the way it works. See, God says to his people, I am the Lord who makes you holy. So because you're holy, because you're set apart to the Lord, then you're going to avoid certain things and do other things, right? You don't avoid and do to become holy. You do and avoid because you are holy. I want you to notice this too. See, the bar was set impossibly high for the priests. Now I want you to notice this. 1 Peter chapter 2, God says, you are a royal priesthood. You are a holy nation. See, the priesthood now is expanded. See, we're not all pastors. We're not all pastors, but we are all priests in God's kingdom. Right? Now take this truth of imputed holiness, of given holiness, of credited holiness, that God makes you holy not because of you, but because of him. Take that truth and now say, God makes you a priest not because of you, but because of him. Right? So you're part of this special group of people. You're part of this holy priesthood. And you get to serve people on God's behalf. And you get to go to God on people's behalf in prayer. You get to mediate for people, from God to the people and from the people to God. You get to be the priest, part of this exclusive group of people, because you've been called to it by the grace of God. You've been made holy by the grace of God. God declares you holy, so now you avoid certain things, you do other things, and you mediate for people. Right? So you're part of a special group of people. See how the sun starts to shine because of God's grace to you. See how the sun starts to shine because of his calling to you. Right? So now go out into your lives. Go out into your lives with the power of God, with the love of God shining down on you, and let your light shine. Have a great day, everybody. The Lord be with you all and grant you his peace.